Hi everybody, this video is going to focus only on multiplying rational expressions. And it's going to seem a lot like dividing because we have a numerator and a denominator. And a fraction, which is what you have a numerator and the denominator in fraction. A fraction is really just a comparison of two numbers through division. So while this says multiplying, it's just going to feel a lot like dividing because we're going to be doing a lot of canceling. Okay, so I'm going to go through this like how I would think of it. Because I don't like to do more work than I have to do in math, because when you do too much work, that's when you get yourself into errors. So the first thing I'm looking at here is I'm looking at this 2 and I'm looking at this 6. And they have a juicy relationship because 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I am going to rewrite this as having a 3 at the top, and I'm going to cancel both of those out. Now, I also see that this 5 and this 10 have a juicy relationship, and 5 over 10 is the same thing as 1/2. So that's going to leave us with a 2 in the denominator. Okay, so I've basically just handled all of the numbers, the coefficient parts. So now I'm going to focus on the variables. And the first variable I'm going to focus on are the x's. So we have 2 x's up here and we have 1 x down here. So that's going to leave us with 1 x left on top, because x squared divided by x equals x. Now you see here I have another x on top. So x times x is going to be x squared, and that's what we're going to be left with. Let me write that a little better. That's what we're going to be left with in the numerator. Now, I'm done with the x's, so I'm going to erase all this stuff so that we can now just see the y's. Okay? And the y's, let's see, we have y squared, and then we have y in the denominator down here. So that's going to be y cubed in the denominator. And you see it in the numerator, we also have y cubed. So anything divided by itself is just 1. So that's going to completely go away. So this is our final answer. Our final answer is 3x squared divided by 2. Okay. Let's do B. Ooh. So I like that I have a 3x squared up here in the numerator, but look what's in the denominator. We have a GCF situation going on down here. What do 12x squared and 9x have in common? That's right, they have a 3x in common. Okay, so when we divide out the 3x, what we're left behind with is 4x plus 3. Did I do that right? I always ask you that in class, and then somebody tells me if I made a mistake. Now I don't have you to tell me that, so it's kind of a bummer for me. All right, let's do some canceling here. I'm going to switch colors. I see that in the numerator I have a factor of 3 in the numerator, and I have a factor of 3 in the denominator, so those can go away. I also see that I have 2 x's in the numerator, x squared, and 1 x in the denominator, so I'm going to take out that 2, take out that x, and our final answer is going to be x divided by 4x plus 3. Final answer. Now, if you remember from my last video, I told you, please do not ever think that you could cancel those out like that. That is not how math works, because we have no idea what those x's are. They could be negative, they could be positive, they could be a fraction. We just don't know. But we cannot just pluck out an x from the numerator and pluck out an x from a denominator and cancel them out like that. The x in the denominator belongs to the 4, and the 4x in the denominator belongs to the 4x plus 3. So we just can't take out an x, okay? It doesn't work like that. So I'm going to get rid of those, and that's our final answer. Okay, let me get rid of all my other writing. And going down here to the bottom of the page, let's get rid of that little guy. All right, now, we're going to have to do some factoring here. So and the thing with these is, the idea is to just do one thing at a time, okay? That's it. Don't make it too hard on yourself. You know how I like to keep things simple. Alright, so I'm just going to focus on this numerator right here, and I see that this first term and this second term, they both have a 3x in common. So I'm going to take out the 3x, and that's going to leave behind a 1 minus x. Okay, so I'm done simplifying in that numerator, and then I'm going to draw my fraction bar, and I'll bet you any money that this denominator can be factored. So let's go ahead and set ourselves up. That's going to be x and x and negative 5, so we're going to have to go plus 5 minus 1. That's how to factor that. Okay, let's go back over here. I'm just going to write my denominator in. Hopefully you can see what's shaping up here, because we have a 3x in the denominator and a 3x in the numerator, and those guys are going to cancel. Alright, so let's try to factor this trinomial, and let's see, that's going to be x plus 5 and x minus 4. Oh my goodness, what do we have going on here? Okay, let's take a look. Well, the 3x's can cancel out. The x plus 5's can cancel out. Now, you're probably asking, well, what is x plus 1? I'm sorry, is x minus 1 the same thing as 1 minus x? No, it's not the same thing. But let's rewrite and just sort of regroup over here. Okay, so I'm just carrying the problem over here. So here's the deal. What would happen if we divided both of these terms by negative 1? Like if we factored out a negative 1. Well, here's what would happen. That would become negative 1 plus x, which can be rewritten to be x minus 1. So what we really have here is negative 1 times x minus 1, which allows us to then factor, let me change colors here, that, oh, didn't change colors, and that. Okay, so what we really have left is negative 1 times x minus 4. Final answer. Okay, hopefully that is sufficient to help you understand how to multiply rational expressions. Please drop me an email if you have any questions. Okay, miss you guys. Bye.